Hey guys, welcome back to YourStory.com, and we are going to throw you a challenge today. Do you guys know where man's going to go in 20 years from now or even a decade from now? With technological changes, man's evolving, and I've got an author with me, also the founder of Manthan, Mr. Atul Jalan with me, who's written this beautiful book called Where Will Man Take Us? The bold story of the man technology is creating. Right? It's by Penguin India. Go check it out. And what is the book about, Atul? I mean, I'm fascinated with the kind of talk we're having, AI, genetics, nanotechnology, whatnot. We'll get into all that, but Atul, when did this begin?
Huh. First, I'll deal with what is this book about.
Yes, please.
So, look, if you look at our history, you will see two distinct and very unique human abilities. Our facilities and our abilities to invent stories.
Correct.
And our facilities and abilities to invent technologies. Okay. Both of them are invented by us, and both of them go on to reinvent our ways of life.
Very true.
Okay.
So storytelling and technology go hand in hand.
So and look, we are the only organisms in the natural world who have the facilities and gift of language, right?
Correct.
Other animals in the natural world also communicate. A monkey can give other monkey a signal, a tiger signal, a bear signal, but no monkey can come from a vacation and explain to his cousin the lake that he saw.
Very true.
I can
Very
to my
true.
cousin, not to monkeys. So with language,
Right.
okay, comes the ability to imagine, to think, to visualize things that we have not seen, that we have not experienced. Correct?
Got it.
Okay.
Is this how we are evolving?
Exactly. I think this unique gift of ours, with language, with ability to imagine stories, I think that, and then the unique ability to turn those stories into reality through our technologies. Look, we are not the strongest animal in the animal kingdom, are we? In the food chain, on a scale of 5, we are literally 2.21. That is somewhere between anchovies and pigs. Literally. Yet we lord the universe. Basis of what? Basis of our technology, right?
Yes.
Right from opposable thumb
Very true.
to fire, wheel, steam engine, electricity, telephone, Google, all are our invention. All have gone on to reinvent and shape our way of life. The book's submission is that we stand at the cusp of another such major rehaul, again brought to us by our technologies. This time, technologies of artificial intelligence, of nanotechnology, of biotech and genetic engineering, and quantum computing. The change this time is, if you will, profounder than any that we have witnessed in the past, for one very profound reason. So far, all our technological advances have increased our extrinsic capabilities. For first time, our technologies are merging with our biology. And that changes everything, Vishal. What has been the basis of our evolution? That changes our evolutionary trajectory and path. The basis of our evolution has been based on natural selection because of whatever.
So we are accelerating our change away from
Not
nature.
only accelerating, it was the change, the evolution was probabilistic. It was random and probabilistic. It would be designed and deterministic. That changes everything. That literally makes you your own God.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that
literally,
single-celled organism,
Huh.
what, 400 million years ago.
Yes, to very
to what we
complex,
are now.
to very complex organism.
And technology is going to make that change faster, right?
I'm again saying you'll be in control. You will not wait anymore for generations for genetic change to take effect, or random mutation to make someone blind or whatever. I think we know what we want, and we have the tools to do whatever we wish with ourselves. I think the defining problem of the next 5, 10, 15 years would be this technology is there. You can't dial that back.
You know what?
Okay,
Who you're going to scare?
Who?
People with conventional wisdom, people with fundamental and common knowledge. Religions.
Yeah.
People have to be cognizant of the fact
I'm
that this impacts.
I'm covering about religion also. I'll come to that if you allow me. I'm saying that literally, and we got to come to terms with it. Okay, it's not a hyperbole. It's not any exaggeration. Okay, it literally makes you your own god.
Agreed.
Huh?
We already.
You will soon be. I mean, look. Uh,
When you say our own God, what would we be? I mean, it's like
you
an
will,
Isaac Asimov.
you will no, you will overcome
Right.
pain. You'll overcome disease. You'll overcome old age, and maybe soon one death.
And even the sociological changes that are going to happen.
The average age has changed or not?
Agreed.
That change in average age from 40 just few decades ago to 80 and 100, even in emerging economies, and if you go to developed economies towards 110, they said somebody will be living 150 and 200 years have already gone. Why had this change happened? It's based off your technologies only.
You know what's interesting? Our mythology, be it Hindu mythology, Greek mythology. We always were fascinated with these heroes, right? Heroes who lived long lives, heroes and heroines in many ways.
It's very interesting that you point that out. I just said our ability to invent stories. We first imagine things, and then technologies brings that alive.
Correct.
Think about submarine. Think about planes, spacecraft,
Yes.
artillery, even AI robots. Yeah? So that is why I'm saying all that you have imagined the God to be, you are going to be one. But my submission is that in wake or in the journey to this becoming your own God, if you will, we'll go through a lot of societal changes.
That's true.
Each and all of our social constructs are imploding.
I like the way you start the book. You call it a tormented existence. You know?
Of Alan Turing.
Yes. Why?
Look,
And you give a lot of thought into Alan Turing's life. Why is that? Come through.
Through this book, I also wanted to romanticize technology and science. And technology and science, not, I mean, if you don't enjoy,
Yes.
you're not a grease monkey necessarily.
Correct.
And I'm not saying that everybody has to be. But I think to the extent that how much technology and science affects our daily life and would increasingly do so. So I wanted to romanticize, and I've always found so much of the change that we are talking about is basis of artificial intelligence. And Alan Turing
Started it. Dreaming.
Yeah, I started
He
dreaming
is the
it.
one who said
And the
machines
kind-
will dream.
Yes, he asked the most profound question: Can machines think? And the Turing test still remains the benchmark, the acid test of the sentientness and the same sapienness of a machine.
And you also talk about Marvin Minsky.
Yeah,
Albert Simon,
yeah.
And you also talk about Alan Newell. All of them, proponents of the AI future.
of
I think
course.
Isaac Asimov also quoted that.
I'm quoting a
Yeah.
lot of Isaac Asimov. Look, I've been lucky to,
Grow up with
I
him.
grew up reading Isaac Asimov, Arthur Clarke, Robert Heinlein, Douglas Adams, and later I have seen some of those science fictions become science reality.
True, it is
You
true.
know,
right?
that's why again I'll go back to where we started. Our facility with stories.
So you would agree with me, right? So science fiction builds the possibility of dreaming. It doesn't necessarily predict the future. Would you agree with that?
I think it may take what may seem a very edge case and a very imaginative thing. It creates a possibility out there.
It
It
does.
tells you that you could fly, or that
Exactly.
you could swim underwater, or
Agreed.
there could be a machine who does a
You
bunch
know
of
what
things.
surprises me?
Yeah.
Arthur C. Clarke, when he
Yeah.
wrote War of the Worlds,
Yes.
right? This was in 1895 or
yes,
something.
Yes.
And think about visualizing it in picture. Happened,
You would see more science fictions.
yes.
In fact, I had just had this bet with one of my friends last week. Most science fictions, okay, at least the good ones. Okay, for some reason, I'm not surprised actually. I could say this for mythologies as well. That is why I say, when I say you'll be your own god, look at mythologies. You already are some form god.
Agreed. In mythology, there are our own
You
gods,
have-
not the heroes, right?
You have, you already are Sanjay, right? Live telecast happens to them.
That's true. That's
Things.
true.
So, so much of mythology, so much of science fiction are our current realities. If you read or watch a science fiction movie or literature of 20 years back, it will not excite you because those have become your reality.
Agreed.
So they don't anymore titillate your imagination or
No, very true. I mean, so what are the opportunities that you talk about? What's happening? Are governments ready with
So two
because
things.
the book itself makes you think.
So
And I
two
hope
things
someday
I'll
the
say.
government
Yeah,
picks
yeah.
this book up.
I would think so. Two, three things I'll say. Number one, governments and policy making and education are the biggest change agents, right? They are the biggest change agents, and they, by very their nature of it, are the biggest laggards. They're always
Policies.
prepared to fight the last enemy, the last menace. Our educational system are still tailored largely to serve those factory systems.
Yes.
It's
That's
not
almost a
tailored-
150-year-old system.
Exactly. Okay, and I think that is where you would see much of disconnect. To my mind, the disconnect that you see by way of Brexit, by way of hyper nationalism,
Yes.
growing bigotry, is because of that disconnect.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what?
That disconnect that people feel, okay, and between where the world is going, and they don't feel connected.
And then
So they want to then hunker in. Can you imagine?
their hunkering is also, that's because they don't probably understand the science, the world of science.
Exactly. And again, I'll go back. One of my attempt through this book is to look, these things are happening around us. I'm trying to join the dots and trying to help my reader see what lies ahead of us. So you ask me, is technology changing man or man changing technology? I said both. Technologies are invention, and the trajectory and the path and the direction it takes is we can determine that. The biggest question, again I'll repeat, of next 5, 10, 15 years would be of new ethical code would be required, new code of morality would be required. Take a case of even autonomous car, which has become a show poster child for AI and so on. New road laws would be required.
Have to be written.
Not only new road laws, sir, in case of an accident,
Who's responsible? Who's liable?
that questions your current value
And the
system.
fact that who does the AI save?
That questions your current value system as well. Same about the emerging, what is, I'm not fond of that name, but call them humanoid sex dolls.
Right.
Or Sophia given Saudi citizenship.
It's
What
true,
does
it's
that
already
mean?
happening,
Is
right?
Sophia going to have more rights than the females in Saudi Arabia enjoy?
Yeah, that's
If
a
I
very
run
ethical
away,
question
if I
to
run
ask.
away with Sophia, what am I being accused of? Eloping with her or stealing her?
You're
You know?
eloping with
Or
software,
it's some-
right?
or
You're
some-
eloping with code. And
Yeah,
so
or,
how
or
do you
maybe
define
or
that?
maybe some programmer who designed Sophia may believe that there was something mutual between us. So you know what I'm saying, it is going to question all our current ethical framework.
So maybe listen, the 3 laws of robotics are going to come real after all, right?
Look, that is a starting. But as Aizima himself said, this cannot cover all the use case scenarios. Correct? But at least in absence of anything else, that's our best starting point.
You know what scares me? We're in an election here and in India, and there's whether people like it or not. Technology is already influencing their
It
voting
is.
behavior, whether they like it or not.
Whether you like it or not, yes, it is. I'm covering that also a
Yes.
lot. That how one of our social institution that we should be proud of and good and for right reason has been the idea of freedom and democracy.
Correct, democracy, yes.
Okay, hasn't social media? You wouldn't think it to be so profound, right? Hasn't social media changed democracy?
It has.
The
I mean,
last
look at
US
Arab Spring.
The last US election.
Completely managed.
I mean, come on. If you are a Cold War literature fan,
Yes.
John Le Carre and the other
Yes.
will. I mean, I don't know. They couldn't even imagine.
It's only an
That-
author, an author like you could delve into these kind of subjects, and fair to say that you've asked some questions on the ethics. And what scares me is the bubble that mankind is creating because of technology. Doesn't it scare you? I thought,
No,
we
I'm
talked
not-
about, I think we are giving into hyper-nationalism because of these bubbles that we are creating.
I
for
think because
ourselves.
because there's not much enough discourse out there. Okay, I'm not scared. To be honest, contrary, I'm very excited.
Okay.
I used to lament growing up that I wish I grew up during India's freedom struggle or French Revolution
Correct.
or Renaissance, alongside Jacobins or Rousseau. That would
I
be
know.
far more romantic, so to say. I don't. I really don't. I really feel we are living through the most exciting period in our 200,000 year history.
Where does that put India, Atul? I mean, I'm telling you, the kind of talk we're talking, we can probably have this conversation in San Francisco. Even in America, if you go to Texas, would they listen to what we're talking? Or say Heartland, Kansas, they'd think you and I are fools. Nebraska, Montana, they would really think we are fools. I mean, they'd probably look at us as naysayers against the will of God or whatever. Same thing could happen here. But I mean, India is going through its own melting pot of whatever that's going on. Right?
That is, again, I'll go back, Vishal, you're very right. Okay, my attempt through this book is again to put down what is already out there and help you see things for what they are. So you can make an intelligent you can be an intelligent participant. You and I, everybody has a role in what trajectory things take. We'll have to define the new code of morality, as I said.
And what is that new code of morality?
I don't know. I think it has to be, that's why I said it has to be. Look, a lot of our.
Because we are living in the era of data. Is man capable of really creating a code of morality? Maybe the AI will create morality for us.
Perhaps, but we are a very anthropomorphic, anthropocentric creatures, right? We always imagine ourselves to be center of things. Remember, not too long back we thought we are center of universe as well.
It is true. We thought about that. We thought the world was flat.
Correct. And a lot of people still do. But the point is, we have imagined the world as we are a very anthropocentric creatures.
You know, if people are still thinking the world is flat, you have to go outside of New York, probably with these groups and these, these associations, right?
I've met few, and
it's scaring me. I mean,
no, I enjoy being around with them.
I know. How do you handle that?
No, I love it.
I mean, for you as an author, yes, you love it. No. But as a person, you perhaps never argue with these guys. Right?
No, I find them very cute.
That's a nice way of putting it. But listen, so AI has become sentient. It will become sometime, give it 15, 20 years. By then, society would have changed so much that instead of homogenizing us, it is dividing us. Right?
I think we'll go through the change. We'll go through the transition, whether it is reflected in the displacement or loss of current job and so on. Okay, we would need new socio-economic paradigm. The last or our current socio-economic framework, whether it is of capitalism or of socialism, communism, was a fallout of the last technological revolution, industrial revolution.
Yes.
Right? Adam Smith.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? 89, the Cold War ends. Immediately the internet is born, 91 onwards, and the new age is born, right? And the new era or dawning of mankind begins then, right? And it's taken us 20 years to figure out that this is the fastest pace of technological change that's ever happened.
And it's going to only get
faster.
Yeah, it's going to accelerate exponentially. That is physics. Okay, the rate of change is. You have to look at your phone. Is literally millions of your phone.
Much more powerful than the satellite.
Let's put it in with numbers. Explain. Your phone is literally millions of times smarter than your supercomputer of 10 years back.
The ones that IBM's
and think about if I add millions of times on this current capability. There's an explosion of intelligence.
It is.
What has given us this supremacy to think that we are the center of the universe? Our data intelligence.
I want to ask you, chips, right? I mean, that's a function of chips, and what, there's 1 nanometer now?
And now
you can't expand any further. That's what I'm saying.
They cannot
this is what
jam anymore.
So what are we going to do with those transistors?
That is why quantum computers are being invented. That's the next thing, because there is a quantum physics limitation on how many transistors can you jam in a square inch of.
And that's another evolution by itself, right? When you
the enormous computational capability it gives you, and there's an explosion of intelligence.
So narrow AI it is today, where machines understand your favorite likes, your coffee, what kind of coffee he likes. But it's not able to understand how many times would he have this versus what else can we recommend him. How can we seamlessly? It can fool you like you're being served by a human. That's going to take some time.
Yeah, you're talking about passing that Turing test, as it were.
Correct.
Okay. By the way, watch this movie Ex Machina.
Ex Machina is good.
So just to put ANI or narrow
Yes, please.
intelligence, or I call it,
Yes,
a lot of
please.
people, other people
Mm.
call it as well, augmented intelligence, is good at one thing, right? The Roomba, that vacuum cleaner.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've
or
seen the
autonomous
Starship
car.
robots also
Your,
walking
your
around,
autonomous
yeah.
car can't make tea
Correct,
for you, right?
correct.
Okay, and that car cannot sweep your floor. Okay, so they are as good or better in most cases in a very narrow specific activity than human. Then the next stage of AI evolution, you would say, is AGI, where the machines at a general level of intelligence and wisdom are as good as humans. Yeah.
And you know, guys, if you've just joined us, I'm with Atul Jalan, the founder of Manthan, who's just taken time off to write a lovely book. It's called Where Will Man Take Us? You know, it's a bold journey, he says, of man and where technology is taking man, right? And listen, I mean, if you guys are having, you know, thinking about your job, your love life, your marriage, whether you're going to have kids, sex, whatnot, you know, you want to read this book because everything is getting redefined and it will shock you in many ways that life's going to go like that. But it's in a positive note also, right? That they don't have to worry about that future which is unknown, which
If
we have
you're
to
not going to
embrace
be
it.
excited about in the time that you are, I don't know what will excite you. I'm not saying this because I'm a die-hard optimist, but I truly believe, as I was sharing with Vishal, that this is the most exciting time in our 200,000 years of history.
By the way, guys, he's got an interesting chapter on astrology. I know all of you get up in the morning and go to Ganesha Speaks, but between you and me, Ganesha Speaks is on AWS, and they're using algorithms to predict how people's lives will change.
No,
but tell me about it, astrology or AI?
No, so here's the thing. I've written, by the way, I
Yes.
guess you guys enjoyed. I've written that in a poetic meter and in a verse form as opposed to
Yes,
prose.
I saw that.
Besides that, my thing is that we'll solve for so many mysteries, as I said. We'll solve for, maybe we'll figure. I'm claiming that I'm coming out with happiness pill, which will give you very hyper personalized, context sensitive, absolutely unbroken happiness. You know, if you remember Forrest Gump, you've seen.
Yeah, I've seen, we've all seen
Life
it,
is
yes.
a box of chocolate.
Yes.
So I
You
will
don't know
give
what
you a
you're
box
gonna
of
get.
happiness pill. You know,
But
depending.
you don't know
on-
what you're going to get, right?
No, here you can choose what you want.
So that's the magic.
Whatever kind of happiness you want. Maybe मायके गई type happiness, मायके नहीं गई type happiness, whatever happiness.
By talking all this, I think you are going to start up again with another company based on all this.
I have few ideas, guys. Okay, I have 3 ideas. I mean, I have more than that, but let's discuss 3 right to start with. First, you already know this. Look, everything is for takeout. Everything is going to change. Just from a job perspective, with the last industrial revolution, we took everything manual and electrified it, right? Think about fan.
That is
Think about pump, anything you can think. We took everything manual and added electricity to it.
Correct.
Okay. Now we'll take anything around us, anything. Think about our car, refrigerator, washing machine, even my shoes and socks, and some people too
Will be connected.
would become cognified.
Yes.
I think everybody on anything, IoTs and combined with all these technologies are truly digitizing our physical and biological worlds. So there's so much opportunity. When you see anything, you think, what would a level of cognification do to it? Okay. Now I think, and that is where you have 10 million startup ideas. Take any X and add AI to it. Okay. And,
But are you going to do any of it?
I will. My biggest idea, I call this a $7 trillion idea, guys. I think the first wave of data economy or digital economy has been that whatever data trail that we leave of our browsing behavior, of our purchasing behavior, and so on. Based on that, Amazons and Googles and Facebooks and Netflix have not only created trillion-dollar companies and have become larger than most nations. Good for them, and that's the Faustian bargain that we have made with them. My thing is, what if the same sciences of data, of AI, came to help you achieve your level or next level of actualization? Give me 2 minutes to explain this. we have data coming out of everywhere, right? Increasingly, we are more info-organisms than bioorganisms.
Agreed, at this
Correct?
point of time. Yeah.
If somebody says, I'm having a hallelujah moment, I know what exactly is smoking, right? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
true.
I know what dance and orchestra of what neurotransmitters taking place. That's why I said I'm coming out with happiness pill. Think it off as a recreational drug, sound side effects.
Why not?
Now coming back to that.
That doesn't mean
that-
you guys go to weed.
No.
please.
But
Yeah.
by the way, we all will be doing biohacking.
That's true. That's
We
gonna
will be
happen.
doing so much of biohacking. This would be the new pop subculture, as it were.
You know,
We'll be
interesting. Have you taken a pill yourself? You're 20 years younger. I mean, with your thoughts. I mean.
No. We'll all be doing but biohacking, Vishal.
Nice.
Okay. Coming to the $7 trillion idea.
Uh-huh.
Look, data coming out of everywhere, right?
Yes.
More data would come out of us
Mhm.
increasingly.
Mhm.
You have your birth record, your educational record, your health record, your telephone bill, your credit card, then your browsing history, then your social media network on Facebook, your professional network on, say, LinkedIn, and so on and so forth. Okay, and Fitbit, which measures whatever.
So what's the $7 trillion idea?
So what if this data was in one place?
That's scary.
No, and you were in control. It's your data.
That's my data. So because I'm connected to these devices.
What
I'm
if I
in control. Why
gave
not?
you a tool which helps you put all this data in one
That's
place?
a great idea.
And what if I gave you AI algorithms,
Superb.
sir,
I'd agree with
which will help you do two things?
At this point of time, I agree with this idea because
No.
my data is all over the
Anybody
place
watching,
and I don't know.
anybody watching this, I have included this in my book, and that B, this is my next big idea. I truly believe this will initiate a $7 trillion economic activity annually.
Mhm.
Yeah, so
So will it involve blockchain and whatnot?
everything.
Everything.
But I want to keep it simple.
You gotta come closer.
My thing is that, again, I said, this data, personal data, it was one place. And if I apply,
If you do that, I'm going to be the first one who's going to sign in
Please,
because
look,
there are too many
look.
people using my data and influencing me these days.
yes, and I'm saying it will bring monetization to you.
But I'll tell you why I'm scared. Today there are 120 BJP bots out there, 75 Congress bots out there, reshaping narrative and fighting. I want to know what is real. I'd rather sign on with a platform like yours.
Yes, so look, by the way, guys, there are a lot of fake news busters.
Yeah,
And that's the irony we were talking before we started this
Hmm.
interview. And that's the irony of internet and social media. It was supposed to
Democratize.
harmonize
Yeah.
the whole world, right? Bring us closer together.
Very true.
Kind of usher into that utopian Vasudev Kutumbakam borderless
That's
world. True.
That is
Borderless
true.
world.
That's what globalization
What
was.
is happening? We are more of a Koop Manduk today than any other time.
You want to explain what Cook Manduk is?
Koop Manduk is frog in the well syndrome, right? And we are, somewhere AI analytics has to share their own blame. In the sense that you and I are locking ourselves increasingly into our echo chambers. Yeah, that is how Russians have supposed to manipulated the US election.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
I mean, there's
it's-
lots of audience questions, by the way.
That is why when you watch,
You know what?
when people who watch Fox News, you can be sure 99% who they vote for. People who
It's
watch,
true.
and this we're talking about the freest and number one country in the world, America. People who watch CNN, you can 99% guess that what they people.
That's
So
happening in
people
India now,
are
Atul.
increasingly locking them, as I said, in their own echo chambers.
And that's
they
scary.
hear and they look, and that's called filter bubble.
That's a filter bubble.
And then
it's
as a
scary
content
bubble.
provider, if
You have
you
no
like
control
to
over
see Trump
I've seen
getting
that.
beaten up, then I serve
Let's
you
go
only
to some
that.
audience questions. I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
I'll tell you
Are
what. The
there
bubble
questions?
filter is a chapter you got to read. Okay, there's lots of questions. I know we're running out of time, so we got to do this.
Shoot, I've just started, Vishal.
So we'll do another one, a longer one in your office. I'm sorry about
I
this,
know.
but there's lots of questions. What's your favorite science invention of our time? That's a tricky one. Quickly.
So many. Honestly, I can't.
One.
I always had a problem.
say
When somebody
Fitbit.
said, "Who's your favorite girlfriend? Favorite
Oh,
wife?"
yeah,
No.
that's that. Yeah, or your boyfriend also.
No.
Anyway, sorry.
So many. But my favorite innovation, I can tell you, is commode.
Okay, yeah, the bathroom. By the way, there's a book called The History of Shit, you know.
Yeah, look,
there's
no,
a book
I
called
know.
The History of Debt and The History of Shit.
No, but I think
we
that's-
don't look at those aspects at all.
No, I do. Every time I sit on it, I thank whoever thought
Whoever
about
in-
it. Yes.
But actually, we don't look at that. And it's
Yeah.
by the way, it's honest. I mean, nothing to feel bad about, right?
No, I don't.
It is
I
the
mean,
truth.
yeah. Think about
I mean,
it. You would really feel bad if that invention was not there.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's a very honest
Yeah, yeah,
answer.
yeah.
Thank you
Yeah,
very
yeah.
much. And by the way, we're not bullshitting you, okay? Right. The next question. Can we ever utilize the full potential of data available? We can with AI.
Yes, I was just saying, I think the next phase, guys, is personal data monetization. Our data has to make our lives better and richer.
Then that AI
That
can
is
do
the
that.
next wave of this whole thing. We are information organisms. Repeat after me. You are no more a bioorganisms. You are an information organism, and your data has to come and make you richer and better.
And we've gotten into your minds now, control,
Yeah.
right? Okay, yeah, come on. Let's get back to the other ones.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this famous saying called the robots are coming, and how will they affect the job market for humans? What skills do you think humans should develop to survive the robot invasion?
Absolutely. Look, guys, 2-3 things. Number one, look, I think we, because of science fiction, sometimes deals in extremities. Either it deals in the human hope or fear. We have always, I don't know, it's Milton Friedman or Keynes, one of the economists, who said that the biggest economic fallacy is that we think there is a fixed size of the pie. And I think the size of the pie is increasing, guys. I just told you about the $7 trillion idea. I'm not taking it from somewhere. I'm adding to the existing pie. Yeah, so it can, there is no fixed size pie, and this pie is increasing. Secondly, we think that robots are taking our jobs. Why don't we see that robots would do what we don't want to do, so that we are freer, happier to pursue what we want to do?
That's
It
true,
is
that-
not law of nature that you spend your life going and coming back from office.
That's true. But maybe even clean the commode.
I got my point. So why do you see robot as a threat? Why don't you see him as a boon? Why don't you see him as a gift from the God?
Why not? And therefore, you got to accept.
Yeah,
the
it's
change.
because we are seeing from our current paradigm. New jobs would be technology. Remembered is a creative force. It creates more than it destroys. You can go back to earlier such thing. Yeah. So
The next one is
yeah,
nice. You like this question. How does technology help me find my soulmate? I mean, how has technology affected relationships, and how does one find the soulmate?
Look,
Technology.
guys, I'm covering a lot of that in my book, but as you would imagine, that's a
Pet peeve.
there's a whole thing on it. But just to cover that at a headline level, I mean, look,
But won't it be scary? You are a man who would
Why
probably
no?
want to meet somebody without technology, right? I mean, you want to have that whole
Look.
frivolity of the idea,
No,
the
I-
vanity
no,
of the
no,
idea,
no, no,
rather
no,
than
no.
say we'll typecast.
let's
everybody.
look at the positive side of it. Earlier, how would you meet somebody?
Introductions.
Either in school, college. Look, there were 3 inflection points. Either school, college, if something worked up, probability worked in your favor, okay, then you hook up. Or when you go to work, or somebody in your neighborhood, or things like that. Otherwise, you go to a marriage broker.
And that's how
Correct.
or a shadi.com.
Hasn't the Tinders and the Grinders and the Bumbles and the Match.com and eHarmony, hasn't that given us a better selection?
There's something called Gleed
And Reach, and they should be. And Reach, tell me,
Yeah, they have.
is that, at least I'm not, yeah, so I'm saying that option was not there, right?
Yeah, and the fact that the
And
relationships
today
also
I'm
lasted
writing
long.
that today maybe algorithms would be better in finding your soulmate and your life partner than your instincts or your parents' instincts.
Do you think so? It can be matched.
Yeah,
Nice,
well,
that's
I'm covering that too also, guys.
That's great. And the next one you'll probably like. When biohacking happens into our bodies, how do we control data aggregation, hacking, and all that?
No, biohacking will not be, third party won't be doing it. Third party biohacking is already being done to you guys. I mean, social media.
Engineering.
Yeah. Why do we go and keep going back to our social
Facebook,
media feeds and things like that? That's a biohacking done to you, as it were.
Interesting.
Because
That's an interesting
you're going out for that dopamine fix, so to say, right? You're going to see
That's a
how
great
many
answer.
people have liked, how many, so we leave that out. The biohacking that I was referring
Great
to
answer.
is the biohacking that you inflict on us, that you engineer on yourself.
That's great.
Because
saying we
you will
feel that,
know, increasingly will know a lot more about ourselves. Increasingly will be able to measure that if I put this pill or I do
So
this.
you'll be able to control aggression.
Look,
you know,
guys,
whatever.
what is that guy's name who came out with this famous book recently, became a huge bestseller? Michael Pollan on psychedelic. Again, ask Vishal to have another show on this, on just biohacking. And you would see that in popular discourse, how drugs, recreational drugs, have made a very respectable re-entry into popular discourse. Do you think it's just a matter of whatever that developed nations, very sophisticated societies are legalizing marijuana?
California, you should go.
California, I was there. I'm still adjusting. Jet lag, of course.
That's really well said. Let's move on to the next question. Let's go to the ethics part of it now. How do you bring our country to agree to these ethics because of changes of AI and whatever? How do we ensure that the world agrees to it?
And this is where I say, guys, you and I have a role.
What is that?
We cannot. There's going to be a war. There's going to be civil war. It's already happening. Civil war is happening in a place like England.
I know that.
In UK, Great Britain.
Yeah, what Brexit, yes.
Isn't it a civil war?
It is a sort of civil war. And it is a social civil war. In fact, they use Tinder to influence people to vote for Brexit, by the way.
So
not many people know that.
The only negative, if you ask me, one negative that I see, as I said sometime to begin with, that educational system and policy making are the two biggest change agents, and they are laggards.
They're lagging behind many years.
When pushed, and look, so I think that is why we have a role in shaping the trajectory of things.
Brilliant answer. You know, these are scary answers you're giving people, but that for me it's an opportunity.
I think so.
I think it's a great opportunity for startups to go build things.
Yeah, everything. Even everything, no?
Yeah, everything. But I hope people change.
Love,
young people.
everything.
But to more answers, right? There's one more question. To more answers, go check out Where Will Man Take Us? The bold story of the man technology is creating. And this is by Penguin India and written by Atul, Jalan, of course. Last question of the day before we close. AR, AI, IoT, blockchain. 4 revolutionary things happened in the last couple of years. What's the scope for these technologies, and how will they come together and give birth to a new revolutionary thing? That's a hardcore book he can write, that person.
No, look, the revolutionary thing is what we are talking about. The revolutionary thing, the confluence of this is doing is upgrading you into God. Yeah, that is, I mean, more. You want something more revolutionary than that, then maybe that could be the next version to being God. Yeah, but that is happening, guys.
So while Yuval Noah Harari said Homo Deus will happen, what is your take on what else?
Call him Homo Deus, call him Homo sapiens version 2.0 or some other kind of Homo. I honestly, I don't. I mean, that's a label, but you are no more the same species that you begin with.
Yeah,
you are no more the same species as a Homo sapien that you have been.
So there's no biology. It's a combination of biology and technology.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And what is the change? It's not that natural world has suddenly gone through some change. Your technology and its merger with your biology is what is making that change.
So guys, if you really want to know how machines think and how a machine will make you think, or how will you shape the machine to think for you, then this is the book to read. So guys, and thanks for the kind, write up here about, thanking me for a lot of things, and it's a pleasure seeing you as usual. Yes. And guys, please check out this book again. It's Where Will Man Take Us? Thank you, Atul, again. I'll see you in a bit.
Yes.
Say bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.